Hi, this is part 2 of the HathiTrust Digital Library video tutorial. In this video, we are going to search the full text feature. In part 1, we found out how to search the catalog, and we learned that there are several filters that we can use before we begin our search. That's the opposite of the full text search, which is basically a broader search. And so we're going to get started. We're going to put in our key term, which is William Shakespeare. Again, we're conducting a full text search, which does not provide us with filters up front. It is also defaulted at the full view only. So we're going to look at items that are fully online. As we click search, we're going to bring up a lot of items. And as you notice, that's quite different from the catalog search, where we brought up much less because, again, we were able to be so detailed. Conducting this search for William Shakespeare, well, last time we searched by author, but this one we don't have any filters, so we are actually pulling up works written by William Shakespeare, works about William Shakespeare, and other works where William Shakespeare might be mentioned. But it's not really that clear by the title of that work that it's about Shakespeare, or he just might be some side note in those items. Over here, we've pulled up in the full view almost 600,000 results. Combined with those that are not full view and those that are, it's like 1.4 million. That's a lot. So when you're conducting the full text search, it is crucial that you use your filters over to the left. Subject, which we discussed in the last video, I showed you this in part 1. You can filter by author, language, publication. For example, if we go to author, if you want to just look at works by William Shakespeare, choose this one. If you want to look at, for example, United States Patent and Trademark Office, I have no idea what this has to do with Shakespeare, but we can find out in a minute. Very interesting. Any books written about Shakespeare by, for example, John Milton, you can choose that as an author. And of course, we have location, format, and date of publication, as well as language and place of publication. But I want to go back to the filter of using a filter of subject. So we want to filter by subject. I'm going to go ahead and expand that some more. And I want to choose science. I think that's interesting. Why would Shakespeare show up under science? If we click that, that's going to narrow down our results considerably. And as I mentioned earlier, this is why it may not be clear why this was came up for a search for William Shakespeare. Yearbook of the Brooklyn Institute. Okay, A Century of Science and Other Essays. Now, this was written by John Fiske. It was published in 1899, so we know that this is definitely in the public view. We have others here, 1838 and so forth. I want to take a look at this one. So I'm going to click Full View. And we're in our viewfinder, and again, we have all of these different options that allow us to view this particular work by many different features. We can scroll. My favorite is the flip. You click the arrows here, we can flip through it like you have the title book. Like you have the book in your hand in print. But before we go any further to figure out, okay, why does Shakespeare come up? How is Shakespeare related or involved with this book, as a subject? Before I show you that, I also want to show you over here where it says copyright. If you want to know why this book is available via copyright, always look over here at the copyright note. Public domain, it was digitized and made available by Google. Okay, and so Google is also part of this HathiTrust Digital Library Consortium as well. Also, because we do not have special permissions, we are not an institution that at this time contributes to this digital library collection. We only have access to download so many pages, not the entire PDF. Not here through this collection we can't. Okay, now, how do we find William Shakespeare? If we go over here to search in this text, William Shakespeare is here by default because that is our key term. But if we wanted to look for something else, we can definitely delete it and type in our term. But I'm going to leave William Shakespeare because I want to find it. So we're going to click Find. And as we look here, we find it has scoured through this book and has given us page numbers where references to Shakespeare are made. We get a little blurb. If I want to go back to the text, I could print this off if I want to, go to each page if I need that for my research or just for any interest that I may have in this information. And this gets to the point of why I'm starting with showing you about digital libraries. Everything that I'm showing you right now, we will break it down further throughout this semester. For example, to talk about copyright, we're going to talk about public domain. We're going to talk about different ways to search databases that I will show you efficiently and effectively. These are strategies and techniques. Also, you're going to get used to different interfaces. A lot of these resources are different, but online, look for the similar features. For example, filtering features. Okay, searching through full documents. When we talk about the Galileo database collection here at CSU, all of this will be broken down and we're going to learn this. So this will be very helpful. Now, what I want to do also is, let's go back here to the HathiTrust catalog. And I want to show you browse collections. Let's go to browse collections. This section here is usually used and set up by those who have access because their institution contributes to the collection to a lot of things here in the HathiTrust. However, that's great for us because a lot of the items tend to be in the public domain for quite a few different reasons. Either it's been published before 1923 or there are Creative Commons licenses, okay, that allow us access. Basically, for example, being able to build a collection in the HathiTrust, which we cannot, but those who are part of an institution that contributes to the collection, they can. It's no different than going into a bookstore. In your bookstore, you pull different books, you purchase different books that you like, that you have an interest in, that you might need. You take them home. Your library is going to be different from your neighbor's library, different from another person's library. Okay, that's your collection. Users will log into this particular online library and they will do the same. Universities do it. They create certain collections so their items are easily found. Sometimes patrons will come here and create their own individual collections and they're made available to the public. Okay. One example I wanted to show you very quickly, if we go down here to Utah State University Press, they have created a library here of 117 items. Excuse me. So we're going to click and we're going to look at this collection. And I want to show you this because I found this to be very interesting. These seems to be titles that were published from the Utah State University Press. Look at the publishing dates. 2008, 1999. This is well after the 1923 publishing date for public domain. Published in 2000. But check this out. I want to go into one of these books. Let's see here. The Activist WPA, Changing Stories About Writing and Writers, published in 2008. Let's go to the full view. And again, we know how to access and find our way through this particular work by using our view features here, which was covered in part 1 of this tutorial set. However, look over here where it says copyright. Look at the copyright statement here. Okay, right here, this is telling us the reason why we have full access to this particular resource is because of a Creative Commons attribution license. There are several different Creative Commons licenses whereby authors will make their works available to the public for free. You don't have to pay for it. But they can ascribe certain conditions. For example, anyone can use it, but you cannot tweak it and make money from it. So it can't be for commercial use. And there are a lot of different ones where you can tweak it or what have you, but you have to give me credit for it. And in some cases there are licenses where yes, and you can go ahead and make money off of it if you want to. I don't care. But it's a great way for Creative Commons to allow us to share ideas and to create innovation. So we will learn a little bit more about this down the road. But always take a look at that. Now, I want to know, why did this title come up in a search for William Shakespeare? So what we're going to do is, if we go over here to search the text box, let me go ahead and let me just scroll forward through this text. I'm going to put in William Shakespeare. Why did he come up? Because it's not clear by the title and what I think this book is about as to why he's here. So I'm going to click find and it's going to search this entire book for me. to find those references to William Shakespeare. And here they are on page 201. Let's see, there's William. Even Shakespeare might struggle with SAT and new writing. Okay, so that gives me some information. Maybe some of this information is useful to me, or maybe it's just something I wanted to know. But there are a few references here to Shakespeare. That's how you can weed that information out to find if your references, why your references may show up in a source. Okay, sometimes you'll find a whole lot more depending on the title that you're looking at. Okay, back to the web page. This again is just a brief introduction, but it should be enough to get you started so that you are familiar with how to search this digital library. There will be an assignment with this module. You'll have to know how to search this particular resource. Depending on the questions that I'll ask, and if you look at both tutorials, you should be able to do that. I will also say this is not a course whereby the content that I give you will provide all the answers. The information that I'm providing you is to teach you, to show you how to conduct better research. You will have enough to know how to use the resource, but I will expect you to be able to go a little bit further. So be nosy, explore. Look into the partnership link. Look at these other links about how to read books online. There are many different ways to do that. How to access this particular digital library on mobile devices and so forth. Go into the About. Look at what they have to say about their digital library. There's a whole lot more. Look in their collections. They have information about copyright specifications here, which is very deep. The basic that I've given you is that 1923 and what might be available via Creative Commons licenses. But it's very involved here. But the information is here. So this is part 2 of searching the HathiTrust digital library.